Hello, New York Giants fans, and welcome to the Valentine's Views podcast here on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Ed Valentine of Big Blue View here. Wanted to talk about the second day of New York Giants joint practices against the Detroit Lions. And if you guys read the articles we had on Big Blue View on Tuesday, you know that I thought overall these were two really good days for the Giants. I thought they were competitive against a really good Lions team that won its division last year, won 12 games, is considered a team that has an opportunity to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl this year. The Giants were probably better overall on Monday than they were on Tuesday, but overall, the 2 days I thought were good for the Giants. They did a lot of good things. They weren't overwhelmed in any specific category. They weren't overwhelmed on either day. They had their moments on offense and defense on both days. Just quickly, of course, everybody knows if you guys have been following, you guys have been watching the coverage, more fights out there today. These are the craziest 2 days of practice that I can ever remember seeing. Been going to Giants training camp since 2008. Don't really remember anything quite like these 2 days. Uh, really, really physical, really, really competitive. In the end, really, really good work for the Giants. I take it as a positive. Also, take it as a positive that Malik Neighbors didn't hurt himself today when he got into it with a Detroit defensive back during red zone drills. Thought we might get through today without any of the extracurricular activities, but there was a whole bunch of it in the final red zone period, which started about an hour and a half into practice. I think there was supposed to be another period after that, but things had gotten testy enough that I think they just that Brian Dable and Lions coach Dan Campbell just decided to call off the proceedings at that point. But all in all, as I said, as I've written at Big Blue View, I thought these were two encouraging days for the New York Giants. They stood up to the physicality of the Lions. They made some plays on offense. The offensive line seemed to handle its business well enough. Gave up a couple of sacks today while Nick Filato was watching the offense. I was over watching the Giants defense, but all in all, held up pretty well. The Giants were able to make plays down the field both days in the passing game. On the flip side, on defense, Brian Burns especially, but also Kayvon Thibodeau proved to be a handful for a good Detroit offensive line to handle. Uh, so Giants made some plays defensively as well. So all in all, the Giants acquitted themselves pretty well for 2 days against a really good football team. Um, another takeaway that I just have to say this. Look, Malik Neighbors, the Giants' first round pick, sixth round pick overall. This kid is good. Really, really, really good. Jordan Renan of ESPN was charting all of the throws to Neighbors in 11 on 11 sessions over the 2 days. And I think what Jordan came up with, if I remember, he was discussing this in the media room earlier today. I think what he came up with was Neighbors was targeted 17 times by Daniel Jones over the 2 days. He made 16 catches on those 17 throws. Weirdly enough, the one play he didn't make a catch on was the one he ended up getting in a fight over. But, regardless of that, Neighbors caught short little drag routes. He caught intermediate routes. He caught passes to the outside. He caught balls over the middle. He caught deep balls that were contested catches. He caught everything. And he's a problem. He is a big problem for opposing defenses. He changes the Giants' passing attack significantly. They haven't had a guy in a long time who a quarterback could throw the ball deep down the field to in a 50-50 situation and feel really good that his receiver's going to be the one that makes the play. Eli Manning used to have that luxury with Hakeem Nicks. He used to have that luxury with Plaxico Burress. Daniel Jones has never had that luxury. He's never had that guy. And he makes Neighbors makes Jones better. Neighbors makes Brian Daboll a better coordinator. Neighbors makes Jalen Hyatt, Wandale Robinson, Darius Slayton better. He makes the tight ends better because he is going to be a problem for all defenses to face. He's going to require a lot of attention and he's going to make plays. I'm going to paraphrase, but Neighbors was asked today when he spoke to the media about what he learned against Detroit. And he basically said that he learned that he can compete against the players in this league. Yes, he can. He can compete at a very high level. And as I said, he changes the nature of the Giants' offense without any doubt. On the other side of the ball, the Giants' biggest acquisition on defense, of course, was Brian Burns. And watching Burns today against Taylor Decker, Lions left tackle, Brian Burns is really, really good as well. In one-on-one drills against Decker, he won a couple of reps, one with a beautiful spin move. Um, had a sack of Jared Goff in 11 on 11s. Was very, very active, very productive in the pass rush. And that was a good sign for the Giants. Thibodeau was active as well. They were able to put some pressure on Jared Goff, but Brian Burns is a difference making defensive player and somewhat like Neighbors does on offense, he changes the nature of the Giants pass rush. He gives the Giants a bookend with Kayvon Thibodeau that they had hoped they had with Azeez Ojulari, but that hasn't worked out. So Brian Burns is just really, really, really a good player, really good pass rusher, and I'm excited to see what he and Kayvon Thibodeau can do together in 2024 and beyond with the Giants. Um, the one thing today, Burns did twisted his right ankle early in 11 on 11s, went off the field, got his ankle taped, went out, jumped up and down, tested it a little bit, and went back in and had a good practice. So I'm assuming that Burns won't play Thursday night against the Lions in the preseason opener. I'm assuming that almost all of the Giants starters won't play. Brian Daboll hasn't said one way or another, but you would think that after these two physical days of practice in scorching heat in East Rutherford, New Jersey, that most of the starters are going to get Thursday night off. So Burns will have a few days to take care of that tender ankle. The Giants they'll play Thursday. They'll be off tomorrow. Play Thursday. Off on Friday. Off on Saturday. They'll practice on Sunday. So he'll have a few days to take care of whatever's going on with that ankle. Also wanted to mention on the defensive side of the ball, it looks more and more like rookie Drew Phillips, third round pick out of Kentucky, is really taking hold of the job as the Giants slot corner. On Tuesday morning, Daboll was asked about Phillips and said he's had several really good practices in a row. Has really been noticeable. Has really shown up. So that job looks like it's going to be Drew Phillips. He had one rep today where he missed a tackle on Detroit wide receiver Jamison Williams. But all in all, Phillips has been really, really good in recent practices. And that leaves probably Nick McLeod and Cordale Flott competing for the job on the outside opposite Tay Banks. A couple of concerns coming out of the two practices, and one involves those defensive backs. As Nick Filato had reported at Big Blue View on Monday, there were a high number of coverage breakdowns in the secondary, miscommunications, blown assignments, whatever the reasons for those were. A lot of missed, lot of blown coverages that led to big plays for Detroit. There was only one of those on Tuesday, only one blown coverage that led to a long pass, long touchdown pass by Detroit quarterback Jared Goff. There was a pass breakup by Nick McLeod. There was another pass breakup by Tay Banks, but the Giants are still searching for answers in that secondary. They're still searching for cornerbacks. They're still trying to figure out. I know it looks like Jason Pinnock and Dane Belton are going to be the starters at safety, at least until second round pick Tyler Nubin, who's missed some practice time, at least until Nubin is ready to really accept a starting safety role. It looks like that'll belong to Belton until Nubin is ready to take it away from him. But the the situation at outside corner opposite Banks, the depth, behind, whoever's going to be the starting three, those things are still concerns. The Giants are churning through the waiver wire, grabbing cornerbacks left and right to take a look, and I have to think that that's going to continue, and uh, that the Giants will look to supplement that position here later in the summer when teams trim their rosters to 53. So that cornerback situation especially is a concern, and the communication among the defensive backs, learning a new defense this year, not having Xavier McKinney, who was the quarterback of the secondary for the Giants the last couple of years. McKinney, of course, having moved on to the Green Bay Packers. I think the Giants are still looking for that guy in the back of the defense to really grab the leadership role, to really grab the communicator role, to get guys lined up, to make sure they're in the right positions, to make sure that they're on the correct assignments. Um, I don't know. I think they're probably relying on Jason Pinnock to do that at this point. That's a role he hasn't had to assume before. So perhaps there's some adjustment going on there. I I also believe that they drafted Nubin out of Minnesota, guy that Brandon Brown, the assistant GM, called a guy who could be the alpha of alphas. I think they drafted Nubin hoping that he would eventually take that leadership role in the secondary, but right now he's not ready to do that. So I think the Giants are still searching for that voice, for that leader in the secondary, and right now I'm not sure that they have it. I think the two practices against the Lions might have exposed that as an issue. Another issue for me, I watched the run defense, or I watched the defense today exclusively. Nick was watching the offense on Monday. He watched the defense and I watched the offense. So on Tuesday we switched. The Giants were gashed by the Detroit run game a number of times. There was one run that I can recall up the middle with Jordan Riley at the nose, where they moved, basically they washed Riley out of the play, and got a nice gain up the middle. But for the most part, it seemed like the Lions were able to attack the edges of the Giants defense and have success running the football. And that's a concern. Obviously, Shane Bowen's defenses in Tennessee were very, very good against the run. That doesn't necessarily mean that by default his defenses with the Giants will be good against the run. Does he have the right personnel? While people have been saying, "Oh, the Giants front seven is so great, it's so dominant." It's not a complete front seven. You have Dexter Lawrence. You have edge guys in Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau. You have a really outstanding inside linebacker in Bobby Okereke. But there are still questions, you know, regarding the defensive lineman who will line up next to Dexter Lawrence. That's a problem. The fact that Burns, as good a player as he is, at times throughout his career, his run defense has been questionable. Who what are the Giants going to do at the linebacker spot next to Okereke? Micah McFadden played pretty well last year in Wink Martindale's defense, but I'm not sure that Shane Bowen sees Micah McFadden as that same sort of somewhat close to an every down linebacker that Martindale did. We'll see how that second linebacker spot shakes out. But watching the Lions sort of move the Giants and be able to create holes and get chunk plays in the running game was a concern for me today. So we will see how that plays out going forward. And we will see if the Giants look, as we talked about on the waiver wire, at cornerback. We'll see if they look to supplement those interior defensive line positions, via the waiver wire once teams make some cuts. All right, Giants fans, Nick and I will both be at MetLife Stadium on Thursday night when the Giants face the Lions in the preseason opener. So please check out all of our coverage of that game. Please check out all of our continuing coverage at bigblueview.com of training camp, all of our Giants news, analysis, opinion, uh, here on YouTube, on the website as well, on our Facebook page, on Instagram, um, on the Big Blue View Twitter account as well. So pretty much anywhere that you want to consume Giants information, you can find a Big Blue View avenue to help you do that. So please make sure you check out all of those various channels. All right, Giants fans, thank you as always for listening. Please stay safe out there. Take care of each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.